the armada that blocked the stars. The galaxy had never seen such a fleet before. From every corner of space, the warships gathered huge black cruisers from the Orlocks, sharp-winged destroyers from the Varnak, silent killers from the ice worlds of Kree, and more. In total, 9,900 ships, armed to the teeth, stood ready. They had one goal: conquer Earth. In the high command chamber aboard the lead vessel Oblivion's Fist, Supreme Commander Dravok stared at the glowing hologram of Earth. His voice was cold and certain. Humanity refused surrender. Now we erase them. Around him, alien generals from 15 different species stood silent. Some felt pride. Others hid fear. Earth was small, but it had survived too many threats. Worse, it had won too many wars. No one truly knew how. Still, the numbers favored them. 10,000 ships against one small blue planet? It should be over in a day. Launch all forward units, Dravok ordered. Jam their communications. We take Earth by nightfall. Thousands of warships blinked into faster-than-light drives, stretching across the stars like a black wave. The fleet was so massive, it blotted out entire starfields. Where the fleet passed, light vanished. Back on Earth, there was silence. No response. No fleet to meet them. No warning systems activated. It was almost calm. Inside the warship Crimson. Claw, a young Varnak officer named Koro, watched the screens nervously. "Sir," he said to his captain, "I don't like this." "Earth's not even raising shields," the captain laughed. "Because they're finished. They know it." But Koro didn't feel sure. He remembered the reports from the last battle with humans, how their soldiers had fought with broken weapons and still won. How one human had taken down a command bunker alone. The stories sounded like myths, but too many had the same ending. And then the humans got angry. Suddenly, red lights flashed. A scout ship ahead of the fleet vanished. Then another. No. Explosion. No trace, a sensor officer reported. Dravok received the update from his command ship. "Electronic ghosts," he muttered. "Ignore it. Continue forward." But within minutes, 47 more ships were lost. No weapons fired. No enemy in sight. Something was wrong. Now the commanders began to whisper, "Cloaked defense grid? Quantum mines? Some unknown weapon?" But no one had an answer. Only one thing was clear. Earth had not surrendered. The fleet slowed near Earth's orbit. Still, no sign of human defense platforms. Still no ships. Still silence. Dravok gave a final order. Send a warning. Prepare for orbital bombardment. The fleet positioned itself. 9,900 ships aligned, their weapons glowing. Then, all screens in every alien warship went black. For 10 full seconds, nothing worked. No lights, no sensors, no communications. When they came back on, one thing had changed. A single human warship now floated above Earth. It was black, with no windows, no lights. Its shape was sharp like a blade, longer than any known ship. It didn't move. It didn't signal. It just waited. Koro stared in shock. Where did it come from? How did we miss it? No one had an answer. Then, in every alien ship, the same message appeared on every screen. "Leave now." 2 words, no sound. Just text. Dravok growled. "Fire everything." The fleet opened fire. Thousands of beams, missiles, torpedoes. The human warship did not move. And yet, all weapons vanished mid-space. Disappeared like they had never been fired. Then the black ship glowed. Just once. And then the sky burned. Front lines of the alien fleet exploded instantly. Hundreds of ships were torn apart by invisible waves. Space itself seemed to fold, crush, twist. Even from inside command ships, officers screamed as reality warped. Koro watched in horror as one of their sister ships bent in half like paper and vanished. Retreat. Someone screamed, but it was too late. 1/3 of the invasion fleet was gone in under 2 minutes. Dravok stared at the screen, frozen. What are we fighting? Earth had spoken, and it hadn't used words. It had used power. Asterisk. The silence before the fire. The battlefield was broken. What was once a powerful invasion fleet now drifted in pieces. Over 3,000 alien warships were gone. No black box. Signals, no distress calls. Just silence. Inside the ship Crimson Claw, young Officer Koro stood frozen. The stars outside seemed dimmer now. The screens showed nothing but scattered metal and drifting bodies. The crew didn't speak. No one did. Where is the enemy ship? The captain whispered. KOR checked the sensors. It's still there, same position. It hasn't moved yet. A single Terran warship had done this, without moving, without showing weapons, and without making a sound. Back aboard the lead ship Oblivion's Fist, Supreme Commander Dravok sat stiff in his command chair. His claws dug into the armrest. His voice shook for the first time. This ... is not a weapon. This is something else. Another admiral leaned closer. Should we send diplomats? Ask for terms? Dravok snapped. No. We are 6,000 strong. We still outnumber them. But his voice didn't carry the same power anymore. Fear had entered his blood. The fleet adjusted formation. The remaining ships spread out, scanning every part of Earth's orbit, expecting hidden weapons, more death. But there was nothing. No human ships, no satellites, no drones. Just that one silent warship floating like a shadow. Then it happened. Again, every light on every alien vessel flickered ... and went dark. Engines died. Weapons shut down. Communications failed. The fleet floated powerless. And then, for the first time, a human voice came through every ship, soft, calm, cold. We warned you. Nothing more. No threats. No anger. Just a reminder. Koro's breath caught in his throat. He turned to his captain. What warning? What does that mean? The captain didn't answer. No one did. Back on Oblivion's Fist, the admiral's screen flickered back to life. But instead of showing Earth, it now showed hundreds of names. Ship names. Human ship names. And their locations. Each one was ... nearby. Hidden. Cloaked. Undetected. Then came the final message. This is not our fleet. This is only one. Dravok stood up. No. No. That can't be true. But even as he said the words, the stars began to shift. Dozens of new shapes appeared in the distance. One by one, silent, black, growing larger. The Terran warship hadn't acted alone. It had just been the first to speak. Panic spread across the alien fleet. Inside Crimson Claw, one officer screamed, They're surrounding us. Another shouted, They're not ships. They look like shadows. Even the bravest commanders began to lose control. Start warp engines. Dravok ordered, No power. We're still locked. Then unlock it. We don't know how. The fear turned into chaos. Some ships collided while trying to escape. Others fired at nothing, hitting friendly ships. Earth still hadn't moved. And that was the scariest part. The silence. The humans weren't shouting. They weren't warning. They were just watching. And still, they had not fired again. Not yet. Koro sat in his chair, hands shaking. He finally understood what the veterans meant in the old reports. The worst part of facing humans isn't their strength. It's the moment. You realize they're not afraid of you. Outside the windows, the Terran warships slowly closed in. One word remained on every screen. Run. But there was nowhere left to go. Asterisk. The sky opened. The Terran warships moved without sound. There was no engine noise, no weapon charge-up, no energy spikes, and yet the alien fleet could feel that something was about to happen. Koro gripped the edge of his console aboard Crimson. Claw. The screens showed hundreds of dark shapes circling the fleet now. Some of them were bigger than cities. Others were small, needle-shaped, built for one thing: to kill. On the bridge of Oblivion's fist, Supreme Commander Dravok stood still, eyes locked on the silent enemy. "They've trapped us," he whispered. "They want us to see what comes next." The black Terran ship, the first one they saw, suddenly glowed. Not a flash. Not a beam dot. It shimmered dot like the space around it was being bent. Pulled, twisted dot. The glow turned into rings of light like ripples on water. But in the void of space, dot then, without warning, dot, 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 the sky opened dot behind the Terran ship. Space tore itself apart. A blinding white crack formed in the stars. Stretching wider and wider dot, something was coming through. From inside that tear in space, another ship emerged dot, no, dot, dot, dot. Not a ship. A colossus dot. It made the first Terran warship look small. Its surface was smooth, dark, and alive, its shape constantly changing. Dozens of glowing red points blinked like eyes. Rings of silent fire circled it like moons. Every ship in the alien fleet paused. For the first time, Dravok couldn't speak dot. No one knew what to call this thing. Then, on every alien screen, a name appeared in simple white letters. Earth Class. Titan. Unit 01, Voice of Fire. It wasn't a ship dot, it was a message. A message from Earth. Spoken in metal and fury dot inside Crimson Claw. Koro heard whispers from his own crew. They brought a Titan. I thought those were a myth. No, they're real. One by one, alien warships began to retreat, trying to break formation, hoping to escape before the storm began. Too late. The Titan ship turned its eyes toward the fleet dot. It didn't fire missiles. That it didn't launch fighters dot. It spoke. A single pulse of red light blasted from its front. The space between ships warped, twisted, then collapsed in on itself. Hundreds of alien ships were gone in one blink dot. No explosions dot. No wreckage dot. Just dot dot. Gone dot. There, Avoke fell to his knees. This is dot dot genocide. Still, the Titan ship moved forward slow. Patient, like it had all the time in the galaxy dot. Another message flashed. We asked to be left alone. Then came a new sound. A deep hum that shook every alien ship's hull dot inside Crimson Claw. Koro couldn't breathe. It felt like space itself was pressing on his chest. All systems were glitching. The ship lights flickered as if something was draining them from the outside. Suddenly, Crimson Claw's lights died completely dot, and for the first time, Koro saw outside clearly. The Titan was no longer in front of them dot. It was above them, moving like a god, and it was still growing. It's not just a ship, he whispered. It's alive. The humans didn't speak, they burned. The fleet was broken. Commanders shouted across dead channels. Ships spun out of control. Power levels dropped like falling stones. Thousands of alien soldiers scrambled to fix systems that no longer obeyed them. And above it all, the Titan watched. It made no sound. It gave no speech. It just moved forward. Slow and calm, like it had already decided how this battle would end inside Crimson Claw. Koro's hands shook as he stared at the emergency display. They were blind, deaf, floating then on every ship at once. The internal lights turned red not by their systems, by theirs. A human voice came through every speaker. Not angry, not loud just calm. This is not war. This is the consequence of your choices. And then the fire began. But it wasn't like fire they knew. From the Titan's outer rings, Thousands of glowing shards detached. They drifted for a moment, and then launched forward with terrifying speed. Each one targeted a ship. When they hit, they didn't explode. They pierced, straight through metal, straight through shields, straight through everything. Alien ships began falling apart in seconds. In Oblivion's fist, Dravok watched helplessly as his sister ship, the Pale Hammer, broke into 6 pieces without warning, cut like meat. A scream filled the bridge, not from any living creature, but from the ship itself as it tore apart. Then another ship, then another. One by one, the fleet burned, not with flame, but with precision. Inside Crimson Claw, Koro stared at the view screen. A ship nearby lit up from the inside, glowing like a lantern, before disintegrating in total silence. There were no rescue signals, no escape pods, no last messages. The humans weren't fighting. They were erasing. The alien fleet tried to retreat again, but something was wrong. Warp drives would not respond. Manual overrides failed. Emergency backups were scrambled by Earth's signal field. One captain shouted, "We're trapped. They've locked our engines." Another wept, "This can't be real. This isn't war, it's extermination." Koro wanted to speak, but he couldn't. His throat was dry. His body was cold. And then something even worse happened. From the far side of the Titan, more Terran ships appeared. Dozens of them, each different in shape. Sleek, jagged, deadly. But what made them terrifying wasn't size or tech. It was what walked aboard them. Humans, armored, silent, eyes glowing red behind helmets. They boarded without warning, not through airlocks, through walls. Aboard Crimson Claw. A metallic scream ripped through the hull, and then they were inside. One human soldier stepped through the smoke. He was alone, unarmored, bleeding, but his eyes, they were calm. Koro raised his weapon. The human didn't flinch. Koro fired. The plasma shot passed through. Empty air, the human already gone. Then Koro turned and saw him behind the captain. A flash of light, and the captain fell, lifeless. The crew panicked. They fired in every direction. But it didn't matter. The human moved like water, no hesitation. No sound. Within 1 minute, the entire bridge was silent, except for Koro. He was the only one left shaking, hiding behind a console. Human turned to him, walked forward, then stopped. And said nothing, just stared. Koro waited for death. But the human turned and walked away. Koro was left alive. On purpose. As if to send a message. As if to say, "We decide who lives." Outside, the Titan began to rise higher, now above. The orbital plane. And the red words flashed again on every surviving screen. "This is mercy. Run." They were not fighting anymore. They were fleeing. What remained of the alien fleet had lost control. Commands were shouted, but no one followed. Ships broke formation, spinning wildly, engines burning in every direction. Panic had taken over. Out of 9,900 warships, only a few thousand remained, and they were being hunted. Inside Oblivion's fist, Supreme Commander Dravok was no longer giving orders. He just stared at the screen in disbelief. The Titan floated above them, unmoving. Watching. Behind it, Terran ships glided between the stars like shadows. Dravok finally whispered, "Send everything we have. All fighters, all missiles, all firepower." The weapons officer hesitated. "We already did." Dravok turned slowly. "Then what's left?" "Just us," the officer said. "That's all." Aboard Crimson Claw, Koro sat at a dark console. The lights flickered red and black and red again. The human who boarded their ship had disappeared, vanished as quietly as he came. The ship drifted with others trying to escape, but there was a problem. The warp drives still wouldn't engage. Earth's interference grid had shut them down. Only a few ships ones farther from the yacht, Titan managed to break free. Koro heard screams over the open channels. "Warping out now. We're free. Don't look back, just run." But then another Terran message appeared. Just 2 words. "We see." And the sky split again. Another black ship dropped from the rift, twice as large as the first. Titan Dot. It didn't fire weapons. But it opened its side, revealing hundreds of smaller fighters inside. Shaped like blades, silent and fast. They launched instantly. No trails. No sound. Just death in motion. Ships that had just jumped into warp were pulled back out. As if Earth had reached across space and grabbed them by the throat. In the chaos. One alien vessel, Stormlight Edge, activated a rare prototype jump drive untested. Dangerous. It worked. The ship vanished into light. 1 minute later, only its engine core returned melted and empty. The crew never made it. Inside Crimson Claw, Koro knew what this was. It wasn't strategy. It wasn't war. It was judgment. Every time the aliens tried to run, Earth answered, and it answered with silence. Across the alien fleet, some ships surrendered. They turned off power, opened all hatches, and sent universal signals of peace. No one replied. The Titan didn't move. The black ships didn't speak. They just drifted closer. And then one by one, the surrendering ships. Exploded from within. They had never been taken. Prisoner. Earth had made its decision. No mercy for invaders. Supreme Commander Dravok, broken and bleeding, gave his final order. Any ship with working engines run. Run anywhere, even into the void. Just get away from Earth. Only 17 ships were still functional. 17 from 9,900. Those 17 ran. They did not care about formation. They did not wait for orders. They ran with the fear of extinction. Behind them. The Terran ships stopped chasing. They didn't need to. Message had been sent. Earth had not begged for peace. It had waited. Watched. And acted with total precision. Inside Crimson Claw, Koro remained alone. He didn't try to escape. He didn't move. He simply waited, staring at the stars, and whispered, "What are humans?" No one answered. Because now. Everyone in the galaxy was asking the same thing. Asterisk. The return of the 17. They came back in silence. 17 warships. Once part of the proudest fleet in galactic history, now scarred, damaged, and barely holding together. They had no celebration, no victory flags, no messages of success, just silence. They arrived at the central station of the Galactic Union, orbiting the core world of Hether Prime. Their hulls were blackened. Some ships leaked fuel. Others drifted like ghosts. Crowds gathered. Millions watched the feeds, expecting answers. The fleet had left to conquer Earth with 9,900 ships, but only 17 returned. The High Council waited, their faces pale, their voices low. What happened? No one answered. The first ship to dock, Silver Knight, opened its doors. Only 2 crew members stepped out. The others were gone. One was limping. The other refused to speak. Their eyes were hollow. The Union sent medical teams, counselors even, mind-readers. But nothing worked. One officer finally spoke just 6 words. "Don't go near the blue planet." Another whispered, "They didn't fight, they judged." Inside the council chambers, fear spread fast. Recordings from the surviving ships were reviewed. The footage showed black ships silent, massive, smooth like obsidian. But something was wrong with the video. Every frame that showed the Titan ship was corrupted, blurry, shifting. Like reality itself was damaged by it. Even the sound was broken. Just deep humming. No voices. No weapons. Just that terrifying presence. Then came the final message, recovered from a dying ship's logs. Words carved into the console screen, not by software, but by hand. A crew member had written it with their own blood. Earth let us live, so we could warn the rest. The council froze. This wasn't a victory. This was a warning. On Hether Prime, leaders of dozens of species gathered. No one argued. No one debated. For the first time in galactic history, every faction agreed on one thing. No one touches Earth. Not. No. Not ever. Trade routes were cut. Exploration probes were pulled back. Even star maps were erased. Anything that led to Sol System was deleted from public access. They called it the Black Zone. Some wanted to study what happened. Others sighed, leave the sleeping monster alone. Back on the survivor ships, the crews were placed under protection. But the problem wasn't safety. The problem was what they saw when they closed their eyes. One captain, locked in a quiet room, kept repeating the same phrase. They walked inside our ships and decided who would live. Another survivor stood at a podium during a private council hearing. His voice shook. His hands trembled. I saw a human soldier rip through our bridge. He looked at me and smiled. Not with joy, not with hate, just calm. He left me alive. I still don't know why. The council asked him one final question. What do they want? The man didn't answer for a long time. Then he looked up. They want us to remember. Earth's message wasn't peace. The galaxy had gone quiet. No ships moved near the Sol System. No probes scanned Earth. No diplomat spoke its name aloud. Even the bravest pirates changed course when their nav systems blinked near the black zone. And still Earth said nothing. Weeks passed. Then months. The 17 survivors, now called the Broken, were kept under strict protection by the Galactic Union. They didn't want fame. They didn't want war stories. They only wanted sleep, but sleep never came. Each night they saw red lights, heard a voice without sound, felt eyes looking from inside shadows. They spoke of one moment again and again. The humans didn't win. They just let us live. The council, desperate for answers, voted to send a message to Earth, not a challenge, not a demand, a simple question. What do you want? It was sent across encrypted relays, through ancient secure channels older than the war itself, and for 2 days. Nothing. Then, without warning, every major communications array in the galaxy flickered on. Screens lit up. Holograms spun alive. Even old, shut-down satellites came back online. No hacking. No breach. Just one message, broadcast across every world, every ship, every station. Black screen, white letters, and a voice. Human. Calm. Cold. We did not act in anger. We did not act in fear. You sent fire to our skies. We answered with silence. This was not war. This was patience ending. Then the screen changed. A star map appeared. Zoomed in on the Milky Way. Earth pulsed once in blue. Then the voice returned. There will be no second warning. The message ended. And with it, hope died in many hearts. On wealthy planets, people cried. On war-torn worlds, generals ordered ships destroyed, just to avoid any trace that pointed toward Earth. Pirate fleets vanished. Smugglers threw away coordinates. Even old enemies called TRUCES. No. One wanted to wake the humans again. But not everyone was afraid. Some saw power. Some wanted it. A secret meeting was held deep inside a rogue system, where greedy minds gathered. We can't let them keep that kind of strength. If we study their tech, we can match them. Perhaps even rule them. One of the 17 survivors, Admiral Kelvik, was dragged into that meeting. They begged him to share what he saw. To explain how Earth fought. He didn't speak for a long time. Then, looking straight at them, he gave his final words. "You don't understand. Earth didn't fight us. They held back." That night, Admiral Kelvik vanished. No trace. Only a message was found on the wall behind his empty chair. 6 words, burned into the metal. "The stars belong to Earth now."